The Indiana Fever. Kelsey Money Mitch, put him in a ditch. Lexie Hold taking over. Arie McDonald and her farm giving me assists, giving me steals. 5 assists for Arie McDonald. Oh yeah. Oh yeah, we're ready. We are ready. The Indiana Fever beat the Washington Mystics in the first game of the Commissioner's Cup, 85-76.
After harassing Sophie Cunningham during the preseason, the Washington Mystics believed they had already broken the Indiana Fever. Following their win on May 28, they likely assumed that the Fever were finished. With Caitlin Clark injured, many completely wrote Indiana off. But for a team coming off a 3-game losing streak, finally getting that first win meant everything. When asked how it felt, a Fever player responded, "I'm just proud of our group for sticking with it. Obviously, we can't control injuries or any of that, but we had 2 really good practices this week. To come out and get a win after that, just proud of us for fighting. Also, really proud of Arie for stepping up and giving us some incredible minutes, 27 minutes, and she was ready. She stayed ready. We needed every single one of those. Just really proud of the group today." But here's what the Mystics didn't expect. Sometimes when you knock a team down, they don't stay down. They get back up swinging even harder. And on June 3rd, with their backs against the wall and their superstar sidelined, the Fever delivered one of the sweetest revenge games imaginable. If you're rooting for this team, show your support by commenting, "I've got the Fever," below. Let's go. You know it's coming, Fever puppy. Bow bow bow. On to the next one. Woo.
Picture this.
Feels wonderful, baby. Woo is making a whoop. That's a cute dog. Woo, happy days. So what actually happened in the previous matchup between these two teams that made this revenge so satisfying? The Mystics had defeated the Fever 83-77 at CFG Bank Arena. But it wasn't just the loss that stung, it was the way the Mystics carried themselves. They played with a cocky swagger, sending a loud and clear message, "We own you, Indiana Fever." You look lost without Caitlin Clark.
Stephanie White.
And let's be clear, this fire didn't start there.
The disrespect started way
It started in the
before that game,
preseason when the Mystics
Remember what
pushed
they did
Sophie
to
Cunningham
Sophie
around,
during the
treating her
preseason?
like a punching bag for
The
their
Mystics
amusement.
bullied her, like she was
That
some
set the
nobody.
tone for everything
They
that
shoved her
followed.
around and acted like the Fever
This is
were just
Kiki
punching
Era
bags
Finn,
for their
and I have to
entertainment.
say, this is one of
That
the worst
behavior set
aspects of the
tone for everything
WNBA.
that followed.
And that's
Then
Kiki
came the injury
Arafin,
that
and I
changed
gotta
the
tell you,
entire
here we go
landscape.
with the-
Caitlin Clark
the
suffered a left
smiling
quad
like you've
strain
done.
on May 26th against the New
I
York
don't
Liberty,
get it. This
and
is the
immediately,
worst
the
part of the
basketball world
WNBA.
counted the
It
Fever
is.
out.
Then came the injury
Everyone
that
declared them
changed
done
everything.
without their superstar.
Caitlin Clark
2
went
weeks
down with a
minimum,
left
they
quad
said,
strain on May
maybe longer.
26th against the New
It
York
got
Liberty.
brutally worse for
The
Indiana
basketball
after
world
Clark's injury.
immediately wrote the Fever's
They
obituary.
couldn't buy a win.
Everyone said they were done
First,
without their
the Liberty
superstar.
beat them.
2 weeks minimum.
Then
they
the
said.
Mystics embarrassed
Maybe
them on
longer.
May 28th.
Here's where it gets really
Then,
brutal for
the
Indiana.
Connecticut Sun piled on with
After
another
Clark got
loss
hurt,
on May
they couldn't
31st.
buy a win.
3 straight
First, the Liberty
defeats,
beat
and
them.
everyone repeated the
Then the
same thing.
Mystics
The
embarrassed them
Fever
on May
are nothing
28th.
without Caitlin Clark.
Then the Connecticut Sun
It was an
piled on May
absolute
31st.
embarrassment, an
3
embarrassing
straight
performance
losses.
from the
3
Indiana
games of
Fever.
everyone saying the same thing.
The Mystics probably
Fever
looked
are
at the
nothing
schedule
without
and
Caitlin
circled
Clark.
June 3rd
This
as another
was
easy victory.
A
Why wouldn't they?
absolute,
Indiana seemed to be falling apart.
absolute embarrassment.
Their best player was sitting
An
on the bench in
embarrassing
street clothes.
performance from the Indiana
The team
Fever.
looked lost,
Mystics probably looked at
confused,
their
and
schedule and
completely
saw June 3rd
outmatched every
circled as
time they
another
hit the
easy
court.
win. Why wouldn't
But that exact setup is what made the
Indiana was
revenge
falling
so
apart.
perfect.
Their best
The
player
Mystics
was
thought
sitting
they
on the
were
bench in
walking
street
into another
clothes.
mismatch.
The team looked lost,
They expected the same
confused,
broken team
and
they had
completely
beaten just
outmatched
days
every
earlier.
time they stepped on the court.
Washington entered the
That's
building
exactly
believing
what
they'd
made this
feast on a
setup so
wounded
perfect
animal.
for revenge.
What they
The
didn't
Mystics
know was that the
expected another
Fever had
punching
spent
bag.
those dark days of
They
losing
expected the
building
same
something
broken team
powerful,
they beat just
something that
days
would make
earlier.
Washington regret every act
Washington
of
walked into
disrespect
that
they had
building
shown.
thinking they were about to feast on a
Someone who
wounded
had been
animal.
Clark's backcourt partner
no
over the
idea
past
what was
year,
coming.
Kelsey Mitchell, the
The
heart
Fever
and
spent
soul
those
of the
dark days
franchise
after
for nearly a
losing streak,
decade,
doing
suddenly
something the
found
Mystics
herself
never
carrying the hopes
expected.
of an entire team.
They weren't breaking down.
With Clark
They were
sidelined, who
building
would
something
rise
that
to
would
lead
make
this revenge
Washington
mission?
regret every single moment
At
of
one point,
disrespect they had
Washington
shown.
scored 8 straight baskets while Indiana missed 5 in a row. But then Mitchell caught fire. She caught and shot, working off screens and baseline action. "I'm telling you, Pat," the announcer said. "What can I say about Mitchell?" Mitchell crossed over, drove in, and finished at the rim. Since witnessing how Washington had treated her team like they didn't belong just days earlier, Mitchell understood exactly what this game meant. The world expected the Fever to collapse without their star. Mitchell had to show them that Indiana was far more than just one player. From the opening tip, Mitchell made it clear, someone had to take charge. Though she'd played professionally for years, this game felt different.
With Caitlin Clark
As she looked around the court, she realized it had to be her. This was her moment to prove that she could lead her team when it mattered most. Mitchell's mindset made all the difference. She wasn't thinking about stats or individual glory. She wanted payback, for herself and for her teammates. The Mystics had crafted a defense aimed at shutting her down, knowing she'd be Indiana's primary scoring threat without Clark. Mitchell had to find ways to dismantle that strategy. Indiana made smart plays, feeding the post and running Mitchell off screens. She found space and drained a much-needed three. McDonald worked with Boston on the screen, passed inside. Mitchell hung in the air, laid it in, and drew the foul.
What am I going to say about Mitchell?
She was putting the finishing touches on this one. She attacked the rim early, moved the ball well, and kept her composure when double-teamed. Her three-point shot turned deadly. She kept hitting from deep, leaving the Mystics scrambling to adjust their defense. Kelsey Mitchell breaking out of her slump a little bit, making some big plays down the stretch, said one analyst. Later in the game, Mitchell even took a hit from McDonald but kept moving off ball, creating space. She's the kind of player you can give the ball to and let her cook, or let her be dangerous without the ball. That movement is a major key in Stephanie White's motion offense. The veteran guard went 7 of 14 from the field and knocked down 4 of 7 from three-point range. But the real magic came in the fourth quarter, when Washington tried to mount a comeback. Mitchell shut the door, completing a clutch three-point play that extended Indiana's lead. The Mystics had no answer when the pressure was highest. She showed that the Fever had more than one weapon. After the game, teammate Ari McDonald said, "She did everything amazingly and with such grace." Mitchell had proven exactly what it means to be a leader under pressure. Kelsey Money Mitch, yes, Kels brought them home with 24 points, 3 assists, and 2 rebounds. Her performance stood out, not just because of the points, but because she empowered her teammates. Coach Stephanie White pointed out the team had 30 made field goals and 21 assists. Mitchell's trust in her teammates and willingness to share the ball opened up the offense and turned the Fever into a team that could beat anyone. And sometimes, the best revenge comes from the players no one expects. The knockout blow came from 2 unexpected Fever players who stunned the Mystics, Lexie Hull and Ari McDonald. This game became something entirely different, thanks to them. Lexie Hull has been improving all season, and now, she's shooting the ball at an incredible rate.